Hello and welcome everyone. I am Manila Chaturvedi and I would like to welcome you all to another beautiful session of KALAI Samvad. Aarhus was very fortunate yesterday to have a Carnatic classical concert. The concert was performed by Srimati Shantala Subramanyam, who performed on flute, Sri Hariharan who performed on Mridangam, and Sri Madan Mohanji, who performed on violin. It was a very beautiful concert, and today we got the opportunity to meet a very young artist, and his name is Sri Hariharan, who played Mridangam yesterday. It was so exciting that we would like to know more about him and get to know more details about him. And yeah, so we have today in our Kalai Samvad session, we have Mr. Hariharanji.
Namaste.
Thank you and
Thank
welcome.
You. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really a very beautiful concert yesterday.
Thank you.
And everybody in the audience enjoyed it so much. Like you, we could see you, all three of you enjoyed.
Absolutely.
And it was the same pleasure we also had. Thank you so much.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
And before starting with the interview, I would like to introduce you to our audience who are watching this Samvad, so that they know a little bit about you.
Sure.
And then we will get into the question and answer session.
Sure.
So, Sri S. Hariharanji is a Mridangam artist hailing from Chennai. He had his initial tutelage from T.S. Nandakumar and has been undergoing rigorous training from Sri Patri Satish Kumar for over a decade. He is a graded Mridangam artist of All India Radio Chennai and also holds a Bachelors Degree in Computer Science Engineering from SSN College of Engineering, Chennai. Hariharan had his debut concert at the age of 11. He has accompanied eminent musicians such as Flute Maestro Shashank Subramanyam, Lalgudi G.J.R. Krishnan and Lalgudi Vijayalakshmi, Hyderabad Brothers, O.S. Thiagarajan, Madurai G.S.Mani and others. Hariharan has performed at various venues in India and abroad, and he not only plays Mridangam, but he also plays Ganjira and also Kunako. So Hariharanji, you have a very impressive profile. There are so many questions which are coming up. You gave your first concert when you were like 11.
Yeah.
Which is a very small age. Children are just playing in that age.
I was doing that too.
Okay. Yeah. And if you have to give a concert at the age of 11, so that means you have started much before in your life. So everybody here would like to know how it all started. And yesterday I also came to know that you were born in USA. So yeah, it would be nice if you can just recall all that, like how it all started and who inspired you and yeah.
Sure, yeah. I actually happened to not start music much earlier than my first performance. I started learning when I was 9 or 10, and somehow my interest for music, it so happened that I was performing for the first time by age 11. It started with my father's wish that I was involved with music. Mm-hmm. He actually initially had enrolled me in vocal lessons, but I wasn't. I didn't sit down for that, and I couldn't project or shout too much. So I thought, they tell the young kids you should sing loudly. You should.
Yeah, open up your mouth.
That wasn't for me. I'm not a loud person all the time. So yeah. I took to Mridangam, and though it was a lot of both my parents' encouragement, no one in my family everyone was inclined towards music, everyone loved music, but no one had taken it as a profession so far.
But music in the sense Carnatic classic?
Carnatic music, Tamil film music.
Okay.
So it was popular, and in my household, always, and my father especially, when he had moved to the United States, a time pass for him was to buy CDs and listen to them in the car, and as a byproduct of that, we were also listening to that music, and Um, but with Mridangam, I was just fascinated with the tone that it could produce. Though I was not obviously by first lesson producing the absolute tone or anything. Just the shape of the instrument and the kind of different resonance that you get from it. Because Mridangam and in Indian drums, Mridangam, tabla, pakhawas, jodi, these are all special because they are pitched drums.
Yes.
Whereas not all drums are tuned to a note in other forms of music. Uh, so just the fact that it can, sustain at, this was fascinating to me, and I had gotten more into listening to music, and even to this day I spend a lot of my time just absorbing music and listening to other great masters. So it's not one particular person that had inspired me, but I think the instrument itself and those who have contributed to it is very inspiring.
Okay, so you mean to say like you heard somebody playing Mridangam probably in TV or the CD played by your father, and that's how you got inspired?
No, my father. It started just that my father put me in the class, and I said okay, and
just straight
it was
away to
as
Mridangam class.
simple as that. There wasn't any. Many people have stories that they could find out the rhythms or they could tap along. I did nothing of that sort.
Okay.
But he put me in the class, and from then.
Okay.
My interest and my love for the instrument, and once I felt the instrument in my own hands, I thought it was that is the greatness of the instrument.
Okay. And Mr. T.S. Nandakumar, he was your first guru?
Yeah, he was in New Jersey at the time. I was to your other question. I was born and raised in the United States, and I moved to Chennai about 4.5 years ago to pursue Mridangam professionally. So Nandakumar sir was my first guru in New Jersey.
Okay.
So he also was very diligent about the basic trainings and the tonal clarity, and that was a solid foundation for music and rhythm in a whole.
Okay. Yeah, like to live in a place where of course Carnatic classical music and all the instruments, they are not so accessible. So getting into an instrument and learning it and then doing a concert, and I think your gurus, they also visited sometimes, right? Like in US, it was not like...
Nandakumar sir was permanently in New Jersey.
Okay.
And after that, when I started learning from Patri Satish Kumar sir, he also frequently visited. He frequently visited New Jersey, and he would stay with us. And if I ever asked him, can we go for a walk, or he would say, how about we practice?
Okay.
I mean, he loved to walk as well, but he's always about music, and so when you have, and my father also was very diligent about making sure I was interested more than he never pushed me to practice per se. In fact, sometimes he would say, tone down the practice, maybe you should get to your homework or your schoolwork and all that. But he would keep the topic of music going on at home, or the topic of what I was learning, or the topic of such and such played this. Did you hear that? Can you implement it in your own way? How is it different from what you learn or the style you play? So I mean, these types of this inquisitive mindset was always there at home, and my gurus were always very involved in being in the mental state of thinking about music.
Okay.
So I never had the setback of, I never felt it as a setback to live in the United States and learn Mridangam, because I had a very nice support system.
Yeah, that's true, and that we can see also, like in your performance. You said there were no stories like background, but of course you're making stories now.
I guess.
Nice. You also went on to take a bachelor's degree in computer science engineering. And did you get time to study amidst all this performing and training and everything? Why didn't you do any job after taking up this degree?
Yeah, so it was tough. I moved to Chennai just as my college degree had started. I did my engineering in SSN college, and SSN is always good about encouraging extracurriculars, and they had always understood that I'm balancing this as well, and they encouraged me to do this. But deadlines are deadlines. You have to finish. You have to write the exam. You have to finish. You have to pass.
It's the same for everybody. Yeah.
So it was a challenge, but I had enough support. In terms of the daily studies and practice, I would probably finish. I would get the college was about 27, 28 kilometers from my house.
Oh.
So in India, in Chennai.
Yeah.
So the bus would come in the early morning, and I would go. I'd probably come back by 4:35 p.m.
Yeah.
So I would get some sleep in the bus if I could, whatever I could. Although I'd tell myself that I'd usually spend it listening to music. But yeah, managing was tough. On days there were exams, sometimes practice would have to get compromised. On days there were concerts, sometimes the daily routine work would get compromised. But I made it out. And I didn't see myself in a position to do a job immediately after the degree, because I thought taking the plunge into music is the same plunge whether you do it now or 10 years down the line, or you have to, though they call it a sacrifice, I see it as a logical doing for the position I was in that I initially imagined I could do a job and have this going on a parallel track, and as soon as I'm stable enough with performing, there is never I don't think there's ever a phase where you think, okay, this is it, or defining moment.
Exactly.
It's a freelance career.
Yeah, right.
So unless you are willing to put the commitment, in my case, I thought I needed 24/7 to have my mind on music. In times I'm not performing, can be practicing, I could be listening to music. I could attend concerts. I could meet co-artists or my peers or something like that. So I feel for all of this and for music to really sink in, I don't actually feel that anything has been dragging or time is being wasted. It's just right as I am. So time is going on. I'm not missing having a job.
Okay.
I see this as enough of an occupation for now.
And also, like, if in your mind you have music as a first priority, or you always thought of, like you said, you thought of maybe doing a job, and probably when you get more opportunities, then you would go towards a music career. But as you said, like, it also needs dedication and maybe a full-time dedication. So
in my case it did, because I don't see that I could have been in one, okay, now it's time for this, now it's time for that. I'm personally, there are many people who do it very well, but I thought it would be more conducive to my situation, having come from the United States, to, if I were to dedicate to music, better do it wholeheartedly.
Like, you are still undergoing training from Patri Satish Kumar.
Yes.
Okay. I saw actually his interview he gave to Darbar organization, and he said that his routine of practicing was like at night 10:30 he would take 2 bottles of water, and he would go to his terrace, and he won't take any watch or clock with him, and his parents would tell him that sun would rise anyways in the morning, so there is no need to take any watch or clock. And then when the sun would rise, he would come back in the morning. So he would practice like that, like he was going on and on like that.
Yeah.
So did you also follow him for some time or tried to get that rigorous training in your routine, or how is it?
So it's Satish sir always made it about the quality of the practice, and he would always tell me that even 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a very intense practice is sometimes more meaningful of half an hour or 2 hours of something that you already know how to do. Though reiteration of your basics is always important, some practice is for moving ahead, some practice is for refreshing, some practice is to improve your creativity or put yourself in different situations. So intensive practice, I tried the terrace practice and I must say it didn't go too well.
Okay.
I was always about the intensive practice, as in, so my routine now is that I wake up around 6 and have my coffee. 6:30 to 8:30 is my first stretch of practice, and then I have I go for my tiffin. 10:30 next stretch, 10:30 to say 1 or 2. Take some listen to music or spend some time after that, and then night around up till late night around 1 a.m. or so, and so I kind of balance it throughout the day, and I wanted to do the terrace things, but I moved. First of all, in the United States, we didn't have a terrace.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my first goal was, okay, when I move to Chennai, we have a terrace. I'm going to do the terrace practice and become Patri Satish Kumar sir. And so the first night I made it to, I went at 10:30 a.m. I made it till 3 a.m. There were too many mosquitoes.
Okay.
So then I tried it again. I'll take the Odomouse, I'll take the mosquito repellent. I put the, what is it, good night. And we tried, and then I was in a really pensive mood around 3:30. There was a huge rat running. I said, okay, I'm going down, I'm not practicing in the terrace again. So I told this to Guruji as well, and he said, okay, it's okay, you practice in the living room, just do it. Just do it sincerely and wholeheartedly, which I followed.
That's more important.
Those days his environment was different, my environment was. The importance is that you make the best use of your time and space.
That's most important.
Yeah.
And it was very funny, like it's just for the audience, I would like to share, when I saw this interview, the interviewer also asked him like, okay, so when did you stop with all this rigorous training? So he said that when he got his job and got married, so that was the time when he stopped with this terrace training.
Well, neither of those have happened for me yet, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
No, he didn't stop the practice. Jokes aside, he's still very much all about his.
But it's
his
like
music.
this night
Maybe this
practice,
routine, this particular routine, maybe only sometimes. But of course, to be an artist of that stature, you're always surrounded by music or thinking about music.
Yeah. So what is your meaning of sadhana or practicing? Like, we have already talked a lot about practicing, but do you have a special meaning for sadhana or practicing? What's your advice to the viewers who have taken up any instrument, or doesn't matter, instrument or music, whatever? Like.
Well, my basic, I guess you can say, philosophy of practice is that if you don't feel a sense of elation out of it, or of course there's the rote practice and staying in shape, staying in form, all of that is there.
Yeah.
But there should always also be an element or a time period where you're trying something new, or you're having a good time, or you remember why you love your instrument, or you remember why you are in this art form. Those moments may be 2 minutes or half an hour or 2 hours. If they can come up at least once in your practice session, that is very meaningful to me. Just that sense of elation and remembering why this is part of your life.
Yeah.
So, in terms of advice and all, I mean, all I would like to say about my routine is, I find it valuable when you can experience something greater than just you and the instrument at that moment.
Nice. Apart from Mridangam, you also play Kanjira and you also recite Kunapol. Can you play a short, on a short piece of Kunapol
Sure.
just for the audience?
Yeah. Dim dinata da dim dinata dim takata dim taketa dim tata takadim dinata da dim takita dim tadim takadim takata dim takadim gadim takadim takata
Very nice. Very brilliant.
Thank you.
So let's come to the world of concerts. When you are invited to play Mridangam for a concert, what are the preparations you normally do? Like, how do you start off with, and like many things, like, do you think that, okay, I will wear this for that concert? Are there any thoughts about where you are going to perform? It's winter there, it's summer there, whom I'm going to accompany with. So what are your preparations? We would like to know.
Yeah, absolutely. All of the things you mentioned go into account. The second I come to know of a concert, or I'm invited for a concert, I think about my first thing to take care of is the instrument for that day, and which one if I'm in Chennai, which one I'll pick. Obviously when I'm in Europe, this is the one I've brought is the only option. But,
Okay.
apart from that, preparing the instrument before the concert, making sure everything is okay. There's no repair work needed.
Yeah.
The climate also goes into account. Some instruments are suited for certain climates, so I just play and see. I just spend some time with the instrument, and depending on what kind of music the main artist plays, I select an instrument which has a apt tone for it.
Okay.
So even if a main artist sings in D, I will be having multiple mridangams in that same pitch.
Okay.
But I like to select one which probably suits the timbre of their voice, or sometimes even provides an interesting contrast.
Okay.
Or more than that, the acoustics of that place. That also goes into the account. If I know where I'm playing,
Yeah.
some instruments may not sound so. They will sound well with that artist, but they may not sound so good in that
In
setting.
that venue, yeah.
Maybe it's too echoey, or
Yeah.
it's very damp, so you need something that has more life. So I usually just spend a lot of time sitting with the instrument, and it doesn't look. It looks as if I'm just playing or practicing, but so my family or my people around me will be thinking, hey, you have a concert, you're sitting and playing, don't you want to think about it? But this is how I think about it.
Okay.
And in terms of dress wardrobe is usually last minute.
Okay, it's last minute. Okay.
Though I spend time in selecting what I like to wear, not before a particular concert or anything. Okay. It's well in advance. It's in stock, and then I just go eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick.
Okay.
So before the concert, but most of my focus is on the instrument, because the instrument really sets the tone for the concert, or how successful the concert is from my side. If I go there and the instrument is not cooperative, or it's not, you don't see, even if it's a very experienced artist or someone who knows how to manage anything,
right,
the feel of happiness or the feel of support you get from an instrument that is set well for that area is unbeatable. So the first thing I like to look at is the appropriateness of the instrument.
Yeah, right. And also many things you can't correct in the last moment, and it just gives stress and lots of thought process. So it's nice that we are ready with the instrument.
Yeah, of course.
Like these days, there are artists who come up with very complex compositions.
Hmm.
So when you're playing when you're going to play in a concert, do you speak to the other artists like what are they going to play? Do you get some knowledge from them, or is it like a last minute thing in the green room where you discuss and then there can be some surprises also? How does it go? Of course, I know maybe every person is different from another,
Yeah.
so there can be many situations.
Yeah.
But what is like in a general practice like?
I don't know that, to be honest with you, because as you said, there's a lot of different situations. I mean, the baseline is that of course, uh, I like to, I make sure to ask what pitch they're performing in,
Okay.
what time to be there, and all that.
Okay.
What they're singing,
Yeah.
I show interest, but some people, they may not have planned, or some people may feel pressured if you ask them, you know, too much about what are they going to sing, or some people may get the impression that you're asking because you're not
Well
capable of
prepared,
handling
capable,
it.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I suggestively ask if they feel comfortable to tell more. Well and good. Otherwise, we can take care of it in the concert.
Okay.
I don't think there's a particular, said practice of what is to be communicated or discussed before a concert. But typically, from my side, of course, I always ask what what pitch they're performing in. Some artists like to, if it's compositions, as you mentioned, and they've come up with their own compositions.
Yeah.
Usually they mention it and they say please learn it, and it's also so that they don't have to handle you struggling. But jokes aside, some people like to tell, some people like to leave it to the freedom. I like to give them the space to share if they like. If I'm open to hearing and learning if they wish to share, otherwise I'm fine to play as they perform.
Okay.
But actually, this is interesting you ask. My Paramaguru, that is Satish sir's guru, Vankala Narasimham sir, he used to say in Telugu, there are two places where you may lose your dignity. It is either in the Varnam or in the Tillana, the first piece or in the last piece. Okay. That is where the main artist may come and say that we have composed something of our own. You follow if you can.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a joke, not to be taken seriously. Yeah.
Okay, nice. You have accompanied instrumentalists and you also accompany vocalist. How is it different to accompany a vocalist and an instrumentalist? And also in a vocalist, if it's like a female who is singing and if it's a male who is singing, are there differences also there when you play?
Yeah, so vocal and instrumental music, I think the main difference is vocal music is usually there's a set gate that they are more responsible for setting. Whereas in instrumental music, because the vocalists keep time, they keep the tala. And so our job is I personally like to play more in a more commentary style of accompaniment for vocal, or it's more seated, or for instrumental concerts that also it depends on which instrument, but it's the face of the music is more of a team effort in instrumental music, because what speed it ends up in is kind of course it's first decided by the main artist, but the exact seating is kind of jointly decided. It's a very fine nuance that it's a kind of unsaid thing, that the tempo is not always exactly what none of us can predict it. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, right.
And if they like, they can they can suggest to increase or decrease, of course. But the role of accompanying instrumental music is that the attention is the division of attention has become greater on each side, as in we're more of a teammate and a part of the ensemble in a vocal concert.
Yeah.
In instrumental music, I feel there's an extra edge you have to make to communicate to the audience, or to communicate to your co-artists. And it's a very beautiful way that three instrumentalists come together to make
Yeah.
a certain sound, or a certain and of course voice is an instrument, but it's just to say that the control of time and the control of feel is different in both.
Both. Yeah. Right.
And between male and female, I have not noticed that kind of difference in the, because men sings, there are different type within men. There's people who like to sing with a lot of gusto. There's like people who like to sing softly. Amongst women, there's women with bassy voices,
Yeah.
who have a kind of big overall sound, or people who have petite voices. So I think the variety is there on both. I don't think it's about gender. It's just
Okay.
well, there's one thing. The instrument sounds, the handling of the instrument for a lower pitch mridangam for gents versus a higher pitch mridangam for ladies,
Ladies.
is how you produce the tone is different.
Okay. Okay.
Well, more than how you produce the tone, how you handle the instrument. So that's if there's any difference between the two musics, it's on our side. It's on the instrument.
Yeah.
So we have to handle that.
Okay. And personally, do you have some preference? Like, you have like you were accompanying violin also yesterday. You were accompanying flute also yesterday, and maybe in other concerts you would have accompanied many other instruments also. Do you have some personal favorite that with this instrument I really like? I enjoy a lot. Like, is there some?
I don't have one in particular, because for each instrument I have like this. There's a dream combo that I would have listened to in my listening time. Like if it's vocal, I love. Let's say, for example, there's many. I love K.V. Narayanaswamy and Palagad Raghu. If it's violin, I love M.S. Gopalakrishnan and T.V. Gopalakrishnan. If it's Veena, there's a certain combination. So if it's flute, I love certain combination. So I just kind of adjust myself into different modes in each one. I don't have a. I like to remember maybe kind of hero worship those those combos, but I don't have a set instrument.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Would you like to share some interesting experiences from a concert which you remember? Something which happened, which normally doesn't happen in the other concerts, or maybe some instance where you made your guru very proud of you. Any such incidents you remember?
Yeah, some concerts. I've had the fortune of playing some Mridangam solo concerts with my guru as well, and there's not one particular place where this is when I made him proud or anything. He's always very supportive of every step of my journey as an artist, as a student, as a so. There was, I think, in Tirupati when we played a live vinyasam called Chakra for Nadani Rajanam on Venkateshwara Bhakti channel, and that was my Guruji along with four of his disciples, four of us. And it was just a really fantastic concert, and the energy level of five mridangists and their hero sitting in the middle, and the bouncing off and the feel of that was really tremendous. And he was very openly appreciative of all his students, and that was an unforgettable concert. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay. next question is, we have seen there are, it's also in tabla, but also in mridangam there are very few ladies or women who are performing mridangam. Is there some reason behind that, and how is the trend now? Do you know about it? Like, why there are less female mridangam artists?
Well, I guess there's a misconception. I don't know how much of it is historically based in exclusion of women who have wanted to take up the instrument and have been discouraged.
Yeah.
I don't know the history of that, but what I've seen is that there's a misconception that you need to be strong, you need to be powerful to play mridangam. You need to be, there is some strength, of course, but it's more about the technical skill and the practice of that particular skill. Having a six-pack is not going to help me play mridangam any better. And it's not that a woman cannot develop a six-pack. So it's I see there are some very talented female mridangam artists, and I hope there are more to come.
Okay.
I don't know on whose side the reservation of not gravitating towards the instrument is, but one thing I can say for sure is that it has nothing to do with the capability of playing the instrument.
Okay.
Because as I said, even when it comes to male vocal or female vocal, there's all types of expressions in rhythm. And just channelizing a rhythm and expressing it on an instrument doesn't take being a man or a woman.
Yeah.
So.
Do you personally also know some female mridangam artists, or?
So there are a few. Ashwini is quite good. T.K. Murthy is her student.
Okay.
I don't know them personally, but I've seen. Then, older artists, Dandamudi Sumuti Garu, the wife of Dandamudi Rammohan Rao. And then Rajna Swaminathan is quite an excellent musician.
Okay.
And the list goes on. There's a lot of one of my guru's students, Deepika. Okay. She plays Deepika Srinivasan. She plays quite well as well.
Okay. You haven't played with any female artists, like with any female mridangam artists yet, like in a concert?
I don't think I've played with male mridangam artists in a concert. As in, I haven't played double mridangam in any concert. Okay. But yeah, I'm open to it. Yeah.
How many mridangams do you have? Do you also have a very big collection of mridangams?
Well, I think it could be bigger. My family thinks it's too big, so it depends on the definition of big. I have around 21 or 22 mridangams.
Oh wow, that's a huge number.
So you've joined the party of my family.
Do you play all of them? Like
yeah, they're all. I need all of them. Okay. I mean, it sounds a little ridiculous.
They are on different scale and.
They're in different scales is one thing. There's quite a few that are in the same scale. But see, the thing in mridangam is that the skin ages. So over time, I can get it in a certain pitch. It may reduce to another pitch.
Yeah.
Or the way they put this this black spot, the karane, it may be thicker or thinner, so it may increase also if they put it. The pitch may increase if they put it in a thinner way. There's just so much to the maintenance. It's all about how good that instrument sounds at that time. You cannot preserve a certain tone or a certain sound forever. So I like to have a lot of options.
Okay.
Yeah. It gets a bit too confusing before a concert sometimes.
That's right.
Maybe that's why I said as earlier I spend my time only on which instrument. If I had less instruments, perhaps I'll concentrate on my wardrobe. Or
okay. Yeah. And do you have any favorite among all those?
Incidentally, it's this one.
Okay.
Because. As I was talking about the wood was selected by my guru actually, by Satish sir. He saw this. We were on a trip to Pandruti, the place where they make these jackwood shells, and
so
he saw
jackfruit tree.
Yeah, this is made from jackwood.
Okay.
And he saw this kate and he suggested. My father and my guru, the three of us had made this trip to Pandruti.
Where is this place?
Pandruti, it's near Neyveli in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
So my father selected one kate and my guru had selected this one.
Okay.
He said and this is the mridangam I played in that concert I was talking about, chakra. So this is, you can see a Shri chakra here.
Right.
And since my name is Hariharan, I've designed this chakra and trishulam, Hari and Haran. So this is special. I've always loved the tone of this instrument. It's always been. It's never failed me at any moment.
Okay.
So this is my trustworthy instrument. Yeah.
Okay. Normally, I have seen like in Mridangam they put a cloth also, like always cover it up. Is that a must or
No, not at all. Actually, some people believe it's better to play as is, without, because wood is, the reason we have this wood is so that the tone can emanate through the pores of the wood as well. So putting a cloth may dampen it.
Okay.
And more than that, I think, see, a cloth is not required for anything. A violin doesn't have a cloth, a veena doesn't have a cloth. So it's, the wood of a mridangam is very elegant as is. And my guru was one of the people who kind of envisioned the idea of carving the mridangam and making it attractive on the wood without adding any extra cloth or anything.
Okay. So for the people who are living away from India, where maybe a teacher is not very easily accessible, of course there are online technologies. How can we help our children? How can we promote our children actually to take up this instrument? And how can we help them to get into more of the music, to get into more of this instrument? And
Well, exposure to the instrument is important, I guess, and it's very fascinating on its own. Maybe being exposed to or having live concerts are also a great thing to have in countries outside of India. And a lot of organizations are doing a great job despite the pandemic. We're all trying to bring live music back. So I think a very important thing is attending live concerts. Videos, I was also part of the generation that grew up on YouTube videos and all that. So, and it definitely played an important role. But seeing how they actually implement it and seeing how they actually maintain their instrument, and seeing the kind of power you can emanate from a performance is something that can definitely draw a student into and nurture the interest of mridangam or any classical art form.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. So thank you, Hariharanji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the lovely interview.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And do you have something to say to our audience who are watching this interview, to all the KALAI members who are watching this interview? Do you have something to say?
Music is great, rhythm is great. Please do continue to support Indian music and classical music and all kinds of people who live on the art form.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.